And welcome to the Nasboys podcast. Now, did you know that during Sunday's M&M's Fan Appreciation 400, the race averaged 25.8 passes per every green flag lap? Excluding Daytona and Talladega, that is the most passes per lap for any oval race since August 2015. Coincidentally, also at Pocono. So anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, a.k.a. Mike Bob Fan 101, with my good friend and co-host, Christian, a.k.a. Savage NASCAR.
What's up, everyone? Hope you are doing well. And that is quite a crazy fact. I mean, 3,176 green flag passes. That's really cool to see. But we got a lot of cool things to talk about tonight. A lot of crazy news, but also some funny stuff as well. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
Yeah, kicking it off with the truck race. I did not watch this race, so I do not have an opinion on it. So, Christian, go ahead.
The one race that's actually on national TV, right? Cable. It was on Fox, the Truck Series race, the CRC Brake Lean 150. And I was thinking before the race, why did I not pick Chandler Smith? And he ended up winning the race. He led 49 of the 60 laps. I should have picked him, Mike. I mean, he was started second. He was pretty much dominant, but considering I picked him last year and he ended up finishing like 26 last year, I'm like, I'm not going to pick him. And here he is. He goes out here and dominates. But he had a fantastic car, and it was the last race of the regular season for the Truck Series. Next, they're going to be racing at IRP, I think, Indianapolis Raceway Park or something like that.
Yeah, Lucas Oil Raceway Park.
Yes, you're correct. So the truck race is pretty eventful. I mean, it's at the beginning. There was just a lot of cautions at the beginning of the race. One of those being Todd Bodine, who was making his 800th Truck Series start and his last one, and he ended up getting wrecked. Here's the clip.
Todd Bodine has gone around and into the wall. And
big hit.
Yeah, this time Tyler Hill was not able to avoid it, and Jack Wood is in that as well.
But there was that and a couple other early cautions, but the truck race went by pretty fast. Nothing too crazy. Matt Benedetto, he was running quite well. I know he had re-signed with the 25 team for next year. He was in the top 5 at one point, but then he fell like a rock to 12th in the last 20 laps. I picked Christian Eckes to win. He finished 8th. Derek Kraus didn't quite make the playoffs. He was just outside looking in. Matt Crafton gets in without a win yet again. And Carson Hocevar, 5th, yet again, another consistent finish for him. So he's in the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to the playoffs for the trucks, actually. There's a lot of people in it that could win it. There's a lot of drivers that I feel like could surprise people. And one of those, I think, could be Ty Majeski. He's been pretty strong this year. So that's all I got to say about the truck race.
Okay, so here's what you guys had to say. 0% of you said great, 100% of you said good, and obviously none of you said the other options. None of you gave thoughts on it, and no driver of the day. I guess going by what you said, I got to go with Chandler Smith.
Yeah, he's driver of the day for sure.
All right, so next up, we got the Xfinity race. What did you think of it?
The Xfinity Series. Now, this one honestly thought was going to be the worst race of the weekend, but it was pretty solid. Now, Noah Gregson, me and you were talking about this. Cam picking Noah Gregson almost every week, but he gets it right. He actually got the pick right, and Gregson wins and throws up while before getting an interview. But
Parker.
You guys saw the awesome celebration there. One of the best races I think I've ever seen at Pocono. Noah. Oh, a little sick right now.
Other than that, congrats to Noah, I guess. I mean, he held off Ty Gibbs, so it was a good battle there for the win.
Yeah, that angle, Rick, almost looks like the 9's running a little higher, taking that line away.
1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. Can he do it again? Can it be a last lap pass for Ty Gibbs? Or will Noah Gregson hold on and get his third win of 2022?
Oh, big run right here. Noah went to the very bottom right there.
Inside you and him.
Did not
Still
work.
inside you and him.
Now, as they get ready to go into the tunnel turn, Ty Gibbs on the inside, Gregson on the outside. Who will give? Gregson on the other side gets back in front of Ty Gibbs. What a move through turn 2. The final turn. Gibbs' last chance. Gregson all the way down to the bottom of the turn. And he has 4 car lengths over Ty Gibbs. It's Noah Gregson winning at Pocono.
And probably the biggest topic, of course, is Jeff Burton's flip on the front stretch. If you haven't seen that yet, I'm surprised you haven't. Here's the clip.
Clean air. Oh, big wreck. Huge contact.
48 is involved. That's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Now up and over goes the 27. So Jeff Burton sliding on top.
Somebody's going to hit you.
But basically, Jeff Burton was going to the inside to avoid the wreck. He got clipped and flipped over. It's kind of an odd flip since I hadn't seen one like that at Pocono, where it was on the front stretch of all places. But I picked Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He got caught up in a wreck. I saw Roger Cruth wreck at one point, and he was involved with Alex LeBay. He kind of got up into him, and they spun around. But
Car's been looking for more speed. Oh, we've got a wreck on the back.
Big hit. The 36 into the wall. Alex LeBay. And
a lot of Chevys up front in this one. I'm going to count right quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12 cars, 12 Chevys finished in the top 13. So that's pretty crazy. Yeah, that's correct. A lot of Chevys up front. They were really dominant. Sheldon Creed, he was kind of a surprise. He did start 6th, but I was surprised he got top 5 because he struggled at Pocono before. So Josh Berry was someone I mentioned, I think, as someone that could contend the win. He was 3rd. But what did you think about it, Mike? Did you watch it?
So I didn't watch the first half of the race. I only watched like the last few laps around. I actually turned it on right when Jeff Burton flipped. And that was a really wild flip too. I saw he was going to the inside wall. I couldn't tell if he was trying to go to the pits, but he missed the pits by a lot and then just ended up hitting the wall for one, but then getting T-boned by Ricky Stenhouse afterward. That was just crazy, unexpected flip. And I was surprised there was no onboard angles of the flip, excuse me. But yeah, definitely a weird flip. I'm very glad he's okay. Noah Gregson winning the race. That was an amazing battle between him and Ty Gibbs. I thought somebody was getting dumped, but no, they raced each other very clean. 2 of the most aggressive drivers in all of NASCAR, and they just completely raced each other clean, and that was very fun to watch. It looked like it could have been anybody's race, so congratulations to Noah. Great win.
Facts. I mean, they did battle pretty hard. There was some contact at some points, but other than that, it was pretty clean. And Junior Motorsports yet again showing their dominance this year. I mean, all Junior Motorsports cars were in the top 10 as well.
All right, so now let's take a look at what you guys had to say. 100% of you said great again. Nothing and nothing. Driver of the day.
Wow.
I don't know who was driver of the day because I didn't watch all the race. I don't know. Christian, do you have a pick?
Let me think about this because I didn't watch it like live. I mean, Gregson led 43 of 90 laps, so probably him or Allgaier. Allgaier was on the pole. He ended up finishing 7th and led 22. So I gotta say Gregson.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Gregson too.
Yeah, we need more feedback on the Xfinity trucks. Come on, y'all.
All right, so now let's take a look at the Cup race.
Well, I'm sure this one we got a lot of feedback on, but there's a lot of things to talk about, Mike. So I guess we just talk first off about the racing. before you get into post-race stuff. I was excited for this one because first off, the race name, the M&M's Fan Appreciation 400. I mean, it's pretty cool they named the race that, and they did something for M&M's because they've been such a big part of the sport for such a long time. And Pocono, I was expecting it to be a good race considering that it surprised a lot of people last year. So I thought that the racing was really good. There's a lot of battles, a lot of passing, as we mentioned at the very beginning of the show. And I was surprised that Trackhouse Racing was up front, like up that close, because yes, they happen at every track, but I was surprised they were this good at Pocono. And Ross Chastain had a chance. I mean, Daniel Suarez ended up finishing third. And I knew Toyota was going to be strong because they usually are at this track, like Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin's won there a lot. And I know I picked Blaney to win, and I expected him to because he's won there before. He won there with the 21 when he drove for Wood Brothers. And Kevin Harvick was someone else I thought would be sort of like a dark horse, someone that could possibly win. And Blaney ends up wrecking.
It's burning, and he knows. Oh, Blaney! Oh, a huge hit for Ryan Blaney.
Into the wall. Caution comes out.
Be all right.
And we saw Kevin Harvick get involved with the wreck that happened with Chastain.
Track. Here comes the 11.
They lean on each other a little bit. Chastain. Oh!
Hard into the wall. He goes around. He'll hit the inside wall as well. Caution has come out.
Big damage to the 4 car of Harvick. He came across, the 1 car came across the nose of the 4. And he has severe damage.
Chastain did have it coming, yes, but at the same time, I don't get why everyone bandwagoned to Denny this race, like he's actually now their favorite driver, But anyways, I thought that there's just so much more we can get into about Hamlin, but overall, I thought the race was really solid, Mike. Honestly did, and I think Pocono should have 2 races on the schedule next year. I know a lot of people do not like this track, but it should. I mean, it honestly should. And it was just a very fun race, I'll say. A lot of storylines, a lot of interesting things.
Well, I very unfortunately missed this race. I had to work 7-hour shift. Usually when I have to work, it's right at the end of the race, but this time I missed the whole race. But anyways, I did get some updates. Thanks, Mom. So reading these notes, Kyle Busch looked really dominant. I know he didn't win. He got DQ'd along with Denny Hamlin, which we'll get into in a little bit. Let's see. Hamlin passing Kyle. Oh, yeah, Blaney hitting the wall. That kind of sucked. And then Chastain getting run out the track by Hamlin. He absolutely had that coming. I'm sorry, Christian. I know you're a big Ross Chastain fan, but he did have it coming. But Denny Hamlin, he did do it pretty interestingly because he didn't do it like blatant retaliation. It looked like, I know he was probably trying to get the retaliation, but the way he made it look was that he was either trying to get the side draft or he was just trying to door him just a tiny bit, and Chastain just ended up getting loose, hitting the wall, collecting Kevin Harvick, which was very unfortunate because judging by from what I saw other people saying, Harvick looked like he had a pretty fast car. Yet again, it looks like he's getting closer to a victory, but he just, unfortunately, was the wrong place at the wrong time. We did post an onboard of Kevin Harvick's view, which is right here. As you can see, he just had nowhere to go. No one's fault really with him, but it really sucks for Harvick. I know that he's trying to get a win, and he's really running out of chances. If you want my honest opinion, I think his last real chance is Michigan, maybe Daytona, because he's not that bad of a plate racer. But Michigan, in my opinion, is his last real chance. So Hamlin winning. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't really see Harvick having like much of a chance at Daytona because the last couple of years he's been caught up in so many wrecks at super speedways. It's not even funny. But I think he maybe could do well at Richmond and Michigan, but I don't see him doing well at Indianapolis for the road course race or Daytona. So I don't think he's going to get in, and it's because of the stupid playoffs. I mean, let's just be honest. The dude's consistent, and he can't get in. But
I mean,
one guy that was really strong, I meant to mention, Eric Jones. He was really fast in this race. He was moving up a good bit. I know he finished 9th, but he started 34th, and he had a really fast car, even led 11 laps. So Eric Jones, I know it's a little early, but I know he was one of the drivers that they could potentially be driver today. But go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that Truex and Blaney deserve to make it in more than Harvick because they're near the top of the points. And Harvick's in the top 10 of the points, but just with how well Blaney has done, Blaney 100% deserves to be in. He's like 2nd or 3rd in the regular points, and he's not in because of this stupid format. And if 2 more people get a win, which would not surprise me if 2 more people got a win, Blaney's out. Truex is out. Truex has been quiet, but he's also been very consistent. So it wouldn't surprise me if they got in. Harvick does deserve a playoff spot, but I just don't think he'll get it because judging by the trajectory of how Ryan Blaney and Martin Truex have been racing. So Harvick's best bet is to get a win at Michigan, most likely. And I agree that he might not have the best chance at Daytona, but he's not bad at Daytona, but I don't think he'll win there. I think that his best chance, like I mentioned, is Michigan. So
he finished 2nd at Richmond earlier this year. So I don't know if the race at Richmond is the cutoff of the race before, but I know they raced at Richmond again this year. So
yeah, you are correct. They are racing there in 2 weeks.
Oh, they are? Okay.
So
yep.
I don't know. We'll see what Kevin Harvick does. I wouldn't mind seeing him make it to the playoffs. But now let's talk about the big topic of the Cup race: Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch getting DQ'd. Yeah.
Hell. I couldn't tell you the smile that went across my face when I saw that news, Mike. I was so happy because you know what? I was having a horrible time because I was stuck in traffic. I was actually going back up to Charlotte. I was stuck in traffic. I was miserable. And I see a text. 11's disqualified. I'm like, wait, what? Because when was the last time we saw a driver get disqualified and the win taken away?
1960.
It's been so long. And it actually happened again. And I mean, it's kind of weird what they did to get disqualified, the 18 and 11.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very weird rule and something I didn't even know about that they could have done. Mm-hmm. And even Mike McDowell got penalized too, or he didn't get penalized. He got penalized more than they did, but he also got disqualified. Or not disqualified, he got penalized. Well, you know what I mean. He got to keep the 6th place finish, but he also got penalized 100 points and $100,000 fine and crew chief suspension, which is kind of crazy. Why would they not fine JGR and penalize points to JGR if they do it for McDowell? That's kind of weird, but it's a different ruling. They have different penalties for different rules. So that's where that came into play.
Right. I agree. McDowell also lost 10 playoff points, but I doubt he has 10 playoff points. I think he may have won one stage, but I'm not entirely sure. So I just thought I'd mention the full penalty. But I didn't know that rule existed either. I mean, I can understand where it would exist because you don't want the cars having too much aero advantage, but it's just a rule. I've never heard of the front fascia. I've never heard of putting tape under the wrap to make the car faster, but okay. I mean, I don't know. NASCAR is just very inconsistent with their rules. They need to do better at explaining the rules to people, like how the NFL, for example, does it. Like like, fans already know the set rules in the NFL. NASCAR, there's something new that could pop up each week, and they don't explain it. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say something about the rule, but go ahead.
I was just going to say it's very odd, and I can see where Hamlin and Busch fans would be frustrated, but, rules are rules, and they got disqualified. I was happy to see Hamlin get disqualified. Not so much Kyle Busch, because I don't mind him, but Hamlin, suck it. So, yeah.
Well, one thing I was going to say, I think that if Kyle Busch would have won, some people, of course, would be crying that the race was rigged because it was named after M&M's. But what NASCAR said, what JGR competition director Wally Brown said in a statement, in our review of the post-race infractions of 11 and 18, it was discovered that a single piece of clear tape was positioned over each of the lower corners of the front fascia ahead of the left front and right front wheel openings on both cars. The added pieces were 2 inches wide and 5.5 inches long, installed under the wrap. This change as a build process was not properly vetted within our organization. See, that's one thing also that makes things kind of weird with this. Yes, it was pretty significant inches wise, but at the same time, like, it was something new that they were doing to the new car that NASCAR didn't consider, and NASCAR hasn't released like a full rule book really for the public. So a lot of this is like the public doesn't even know half the rule book.
Right.
It's just like, NASCAR, what's going on? And then, I was talking to Tim Lemming. He was pretty heated about how Mike McDowell got penalized way worse than JGR did. A win doesn't even matter really right now because of how the playoffs are. Hamlin's already in. Kyle Busch is already in. Taking a win away as the only penalty is kind of stupid. You should probably fine them or penalize points, but fining wouldn't really even matter either because they have lots of money. So it's just really weird. But I was happy to see someone else other than JGR win. But with Chase Elliott winning, of course, there's the Mickey Mouse comments, which he sort of was a little bit of a Mickey Mouse win, but it also wasn't because they cheated. So that's my take.
Well, I thought it was cool how Chase Elliott was like, I'm not going to celebrate other people's misfortune. He can keep the trophy. I thought that was cool that, he acknowledged, I didn't win this race. I didn't deserve it. Some other drivers would have probably celebrated. So good for Chase. And, of course, people got to call NASCAR rigged when there's, there's actually a whole post about it that, people said that somebody said why it wasn't rigged, which bravo to you, sir. I forgot the name of the guy, but shout out to you. You're a very smart individual.
Yeah, it was Range Motorsports. I don't know if we could put it on the screen, but he had some great takes. It was a couple slides of just facts. He laid it out there, and exactly. I agree.
Right. He said, if NASCAR was rigged, why did Dale Jr. never win a championship?
Why? He's talking about Rick Hendrick and everything. One thing he says, NASCAR fans, this has to stop. The sport is not rigged, period. NASCAR lets Chase win. Hendrick paid NASCAR for this win again. Right. I don't think people pay to win. I could see where there has been moments where it could have been rigged, but at the same time, I don't think the sport's rigged. I just think there's a lot of stupidity.
Right. The only time I've ever thought it was seriously rigged was when the Daytona 500 qualifying. It seemed like for 3 or 4 straight years, the people with the most storylines had the Daytona 500 pole. Take Danica Patrick, for example. Danica Patrick was the first woman driver in years to make a full-time Cup Series effort, and she won the pole at Daytona. And then William Byron winning the pole at Daytona, Alex Bowman winning the pole at Daytona. It is a little odd. I can understand that, but I don't think in general NASCAR is rigged, because if that were the case, they would have Bubba Wallace win more races. Dale Jr. would have at least 2 to 3 championships. Chase Elliott would have 2 championships.
Yeah, you're right. And one thing that kind of made me a little frustrated, and I don't really get frustrated often, but one thing that kind of frustrated me was JGR fans this weekend. They're not as bad sometimes as Chase Elliott fans, but some of them were just so delusional this weekend. And I know we have friends that that are JGR fans, but some people, I'm sure you even saw it, were just complaining and complaining and complaining. It was ridiculous. And I mean, they're talking about how Chase Elliott's the golden boy and he wins because NASCAR gave him the win and stuff like that. I could get why it was kind of like, what in the world was that penalty? But at the same time, like, they were doing inspection after the race. They can't just do an inspection in victory lane.
Right.
Like, immediately after. You're going to have to go check later. But I saw this one fan, I'm not going to say his name, but he just was so delusional about the sport and what they did with the car when they went through inspection. I mean, you got to be something if you got to say Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch didn't break the rule book. I mean, they broke the rule book. Yes, it was very odd, but at the same time, don't complain about it and over here just getting on every single post. I saw some people in particular going on every single post and saying crap to other people that were just happy to see like Chase Elliott win, and not even Chase Elliott fans being toxic, just talking to them first and being toxic. It's like they're contradicting themselves. They're like, oh yeah, Chase Elliott fans are the worst fans in the world.
Right.
But also them doing the same exact thing that Chase Elliott fans do, completely contradicting themselves. It's ridiculous, Mike. Some of these JGR fans need to be stopped as well. And that's just the truth. Some of them are just on way. They're toxic too, man. And this community sometimes it just makes me want to hit my head on a brick wall.
Yes, Christian, I completely agree with you on that. I mean, like I said, again, I understand why Denny Hamlin, JGR, Kyle Busch fans, whatever, would be frustrated because, you know, that's your favorite driver. Joey Logano failed inspection. I would be upset. And he lost his win. I'd be frustrated with the team. I'd be frustrated that happened. And I get why they're frustrated because, you know, you've never really heard of them taking the whole wrap off of the car. And I don't think they did it to that many other cars. So I'm assuming NASCAR thought, okay, these guys are going a little too fast. We need to check if they have an aero advantage. So
Yeah.
I've never heard of them taking the wrap off the car either. I thought they just placed something over the car. The official looked at like the wheels and stuff to see, and that was it. Not that they took the whole wrap off. That was really weird, and I understand why they're frustrated, but they can't be complaining, oh, Chase Elliott fans are so whiny and they're so toxic, but yet they're being the ones that are toxic. So
I literally saw a JGR fan to tell someone to kill themselves. I'm not even joking. I'm like, dude, you're literally saying that just because your driver fell and didn't win a race. You're that salty. It just shows you, man. But I mean, I think like what you said, they probably did see something different with the aero of the car. And when they did the scan thing, they have like scanners now. They can scan a car. They probably saw something on that as well. So I don't think that they would just make someone fail inspection on purpose like that.
Right.
I mean, some fans were thinking that, but you gotta be delusional. But then again, NASCAR fans in general are dumb and stupid. Sometimes I'm dumb. So it is what it is. I mean,
the Ross Chastain episode right here.
Yeah, but my boy Ross, he kind of had it coming, but I'm actually surprised Denny actually did something about it because he usually is all talk and has someone make memes and have fanboys quote about how great of a social media guy the guy is, but it's just a joke.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I know what you're saying. Denny Hamlin doesn't really go up to other people besides Chase Briscoe and complain like, hey, I didn't like the way you raced me. He just kind of walks away and complains about it to the media. But yeah, I was surprised that he did something. Will we see more? I don't know. He said that we might see more and it's not over yet, but we will find out later on when the playoffs begin in September. So now let's take a look at what you guys had to say. 14% of you said great. 43% of you said good. 43% of you said massage okay. None of you said bad. Henry24257 says decent race, lots of strategy. Wish some runs, went green, but not bad. 7 out of 10. Driver of the day. Nobody. I'm gonna give it to Kyle. Well, Kyle Busch. He had the most dominant car from what I was reading, but he failed inspection, so that's kind of contradicting it.
Yeah.
So I don't know who to give it to, honestly, because Chase Elliott doesn't deserve it. Chase Elliott doesn't even think he deserves the win.
Well, the thing is that Chase sometimes is a little hard on himself because he's insistent and he's like, oh man, I did do that well when you literally finished in the top 5. But I think that Denny Hamlin, yes, if Denny Hamlin didn't fail inspection, he's obviously driver of the day. He spun out early in the race, which there's a lot of cautions early on. He was able to get back up there and he was really fast. He led a good bit of laps, if I'm correct. He led 21, Kyle Busch led 63. But my driver today, as I mentioned earlier, was Eric Jones from starting up all the way back at 34th, and he worked his way up. He even led 11 laps, and he had a very fast car. I think he's definitely a contender for that. And one other guy that was really strong, Christopher Bell. He had a very fast car. He's another nominee for driver of the day, but got to give it to Jones.
Yeah, I forgot that Hamlin had spun out. So I guess I'll give it to him. But Kyle Busch definitely should be in consideration, even though they both failed inspection. All right. So now let's get a quick run through of meme of the week. So I have 3 that were probably my favorites. So first off, this one. So for context, this is Chase Elliott celebrating his win, even though he probably didn't deserve it, and he even said he didn't deserve it, but it's still pretty funny.
Yeah, that's a good one, for sure. But there's a lot of other funny Chase ones. Like one of them I saw was kind of making fun of Chase Elliott fans, but it's really accurate though how some of them are. This one was by NASCAR Memes OG, and it was from Madagascar, one of the Madagascar movies. So
yes.
Here it is.
Circus, Afro circus, Afro circus, Afro polka dot, Afro.
Really?
Yeah, that was one of mine too. I was going to mention that, but so thank you, Christian, for mentioning that. And then, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you have any others?
Yeah, my final one is this one. So for context, it's the Despicable Me scene where Gru is talking to the banker guy and he's explaining his whole plan, but it's Denny Hamlin obviously doing that, and he didn't realize he was going to get DQ'd after getting his revenge on Ross and failing inspection. So I thought that one was pretty funny.
Yeah. Now another one I saw was by same pick of Martin, which he usually posts pictures of Mark Martin, but he posted a thing of Brad Keselowski, and I know it's Austin's car. It's kind of a weird edit, but basically it says life one lap down, and there's like a burning house in the background. It's just the women on the car.
Oh, yeah.
That was
not this week. That was last week's race.
Yeah.
But still, very funny meme.
And I know there's another one I saw of Chastain smiling, but it says Chastain when he saw Denny Hamlin get disqualified. And then, of course, this one by Ford, the championship, Teresa Earnhardt, when she sees black 3 or an 8. Here it is. That was a great one as well. So plenty of meme content as well this week. So now we have the top 10 Brickyard 400 moments at Indianapolis. Here they are.
And with the top 10 here, Josiah, why don't you start us off? This is top 10 Brickyard 400 moments.
Okay, so yes, starting in at number 10 is the 2014, sorry about that, Brickyard 400. So you can roll the clip.
"17 laps to go at the Brickyard."
Jeff Gordon's really going to have to take the lead from Casey Kane, because if he doesn't, he's probably going back to at least 30.
He did it!
And we pointed out early on, they've had a lot of very good races, but just find ways not to win once again today.
Hold it there, bud.
He's in the last lap. And as we look out the window across at the grandstands, all the fans that are here at the Speedway today are now on their feet, watching to see if Jeff Gordon comes back around to take another checkered flag. Final quarters. He won the first one in 1994. 20 years later, he wins the 21st. Checkered flag in the Brickyard 400 to Jeff Gordon.
Go 400! Yeah, buddy. Great salt over you on the best.
Okay, so in 2014 is when Jeff Gordon would win his 5th Brickyard after taking the lead on the final lap. So I think that Jeff Gordon, he could in NASCAR, he could definitely be considered the GOAT, the GOAT of the Brickyard. But I think Jimmy Johnson makes a pretty good run at it. But I think Jeff Gordon is the king at the Brickyard. And then also, this would be his 90th career win. So that's pretty historical right there.
True. And that was also the one thing I wanted to add to that as well. It was actually the last race ever, like, broadcasted on ESPN, at least for now.
Ooh, that's a good fact.
In at number 9 is Jamie McMurray holding off Kevin Harvick. Here's the clip.
The 2 leading cars from Earnhardt Ganassi Racing with Felix Sabates will do different things. Jamie McMurray takes 2. Papa Montoya, he wanted to go for 4, and that's interesting because McMurray thought he might have a flat. I hope it wasn't on the left side. Kevin Bodomanian. Okay, I understand the track position thing, but then your driver says I might have a flat, and then he kind of locks him up coming in. Are you okay?
Yeah, the tires are fine. There's 2 runs in a row, I believe we had a flat, and I think the splitter's getting a little bit worn. It's causing a small vibration, which he thinks he has a flat. So fast go, Chevy's good to go to the end.
We're back to green flag racing, and boy, McMurray jumps and takes a big lead into one.
Yeah, it's almost like Tony Stewart was asleep at the wheel there on that restart. Great start for McMurray.
As we watch both ends of the track right here, Harvick taking a peek, but will not try and make the move going into 3.
Oh, what a great call this has been for Kevin Harvick. He's been solid all day, but nothing up at the front.
Now, this is the closest sniff he has had to the race lead all day long.
And he is working McMurray over right here. He might have him.
Coming down the stretch. Boy, look at this. Kevin Harvick makes it look easy this time as he becomes our 10th. Oh, no, trouble right at the pit end.
Montoya. Yeah, we're leaders.
It's like Montoya and Jr.
Look at this. Oh, man, what disappointment for the 42. Now let's listen in on the radio of the 1 car.
I know I'm beating a dead horse, but I swear I got a tire that doesn't feel right. I can't tell. I mean, I don't know what's wrong. Something doesn't feel right, though.
And we are back racing again at the Brickyard 400.
Oh, McMurray with a really good restart. Can he hang on that outside here?
Well, we're going to find out because a lot of guys are going with him.
Oh, takes the lead off of turn 1.
So give Jamie McMurray the lead.
You see Jamie McMurray trying to break the draft a little bit.
This time by 8 laps remaining here at the Brickyard. He's opened up a bit of a gap, about 0.4 of a second over Kevin Harvick. And Biffle hasn't been able to close as rapidly as he had been. Coming through turn number 4. It's a long way down this front straightaway to the white flag. But Jamie McMurray, as he makes his way, white flag is out. And this race is going to be official. The final lap, 2.5 miles to go.
Boy, what a great feeling. What a great job Jamie McMurray's done it. Ray Evernham sat down there. Ray, I know you're sitting there saying you're the one that picked this guy, and you have all week stuck with him. And Jamie McMurray looks like he's going to make it come true for Chip Ganassi and make you look like a genius too down there, buddy.
Down the backstretch for the last time. McMurray looking for his 5th Sprint Cup win in his 278th start. In the North Chute, Chip Ganassi. He knows he's this close to making history.
Yeah, he can start smiling now. You see it right there. You can see him come off the corner.
Jamie McMurray is going to win Daytona and the Brickyard 400 in the same year.
For Chip Ganassi Racing, fellas. Zero, good job, man. Good job, Bono. Great pit stop. Awesome job today, guys. Unbelievable.
Chip Ganassi pinch me. Is this real?
Kiss the bricks.
We're going to kiss the bricks.
Chip, I know you don't get very emotional, but what a special day for you and this entire organization.
Pretty special. You know, my heart goes out to Juan. He had a great day too, but he and Jamie, you know, NASCAR, this is for all of them. I'll tell you, this is a big, big day for our team, and I couldn't be happier to have it happen here in Indianapolis.
When will it sink in? I know you got IndyCar people watching. I mean, the Daytona 500, the Indy 500, and the Brickyard 400 all in 1 year.
It's incredible. I need oxygen. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
So not too much really to say. It is the 2010 Brickyard 400. He held off Kevin Harvick, which was revenge for 7 years ago in the same race where Harvick beat him. It was McMurray's second win of the season and his second crown jewel after winning that year's Daytona 500.
Coming in at number 8, we got the Bodine brothers, Jeff Bodine and Brett Bodine, tangling in the first ever Brickyard 400. Roll the clip.
Motor Speedway, and the cars have run a half a lap under green. Brett Bodine is the 11th leader of the day, and with his lead, he becomes the 3rd Bodine to lead in the event, and there was contact between Jeff and Brett.
Looks like there might have been some contact between those two cars because Brett got his car. And a Jeff Bodine spin coming off turn 4 right in front of the entire field.
Look at everybody going to the inside to try to avoid the trouble, some coming down pit road. Well, you saw there contact between brothers, Brett and Jeff. There was minor contact of the two in turn 3, and when they come off turn 4, it looked like there was more contact, and Jeff spun around in front of the entire field. There's Dale Jarrett, whose car has been severely damaged in the incident.
Looks like only 2 cars involved in this, Jeff Bodine and Dale Jarrett.
Amazingly, because there were a lot of drivers that were coming down on the Bodine and Jarrett cars, but somehow they avoid hitting them. Jeff is okay. You can see him climbing out of his car and waving to the fans. Now the safety crews are at Dale Jarrett's car. Now let's take a look at the initial contact in turn 3, Benny.
Go down in the corner. That's Brett in the green car, Jeff in the black number 7, and just a little bit of a nudge, and Brett gets the car a little bit out of shape. Now then, we're going through the short chute between 3 and 4. Jeff takes the lead from Brett, goes in the corner, Brett comes down. Is there contact? Yep, just a little bit of a touch. Around goes Jeff. Brett's able to get by while the car is spinning. The roof flaps come up, do their job, keep the car on the ground.
Man, oh man. There is Jeff Bodine assessing the damage. Now this is from Darrell Waltrip's roof cam. They have just touched. Let's see how Darrell maneuvers through. Boy, Benny, you just hope the smoke clears enough that you can see to get by.
Well, folks, you saw what Darrell Waltrip saw for a couple of times. Nothing. All you can see is the smoke.
It's just a matter of taking a chance from another angle. There's the contact. Jeff goes around. Brett escapes unscathed. And look how everybody avoids this incident. Many go to the left here, some down pit road. But as Brett comes back across the track, he makes heavy contact with Dale Jarrett.
That's unbelievable. I wonder if there's a speed limit down pit road under this kind of a situation.
It's a good thing there was a pit road there, or several of those cars would have been into the wall.
Once again, here's from our speed shot.
Real speed from Darrell Waltrip's roof cam. It's just a matter of luck. Let's see.
So at lap 100 of 160 in the inaugural race at the Brickyard for NASCAR, the brothers of Jeff and Brett were battling for the lead, and it was a very fun race. If you haven't yet, go watch the full thing. But I just wanted to say, I feel like this deserved this spot at the list because it's one that a lot of people think about, but I feel like in some ways not everyone knows about this. So I feel like I should have put it on the list, which I did. Basically, they were battling for the lead, and coming off turn 4, Brett gets into Jeff after he kind of bumped him out of the way, and then he bumped him back, turned him around, and they hit the wall, or Jeff hit the wall, and then Dale Jarrett was collected. A couple other cars were involved as well. They made a little bit of a documentary about this on YouTube, but basically they had a little bit of family problems, I guess you could say, for the next couple weeks after that happened. They're actually 2 years. So I feel like that was deserved a number 8 spot. Moving on to the 7.
Okay, so yes, coming in at the number 7th spot is the 2006 Brickyard 400. Okay, so this is in 2006. Jimmy Johnson would win after blowing a tire on the 49th lap. So he would come up through the field, and he would end up winning the race. So that's pretty impressive by Jimmy Johnson. Definitely one of the what?
Sorry, go ahead. I thought you stopped.
That's okay. Oh, yeah, but I also want to say that this was his 4th win of the season. He would go on to win the championship, but yeah, he had 5 wins, and then this is also his 22nd career win.
True, and Jimmy Johnson, it was a great performance by him. The year before, he had a little bit of heartbreak. The year after, if I'm correct, in 2007, he won as well. 2004, he had a bad crash, and then he was able to finally get the Brickyard 400 win. He would go on to win 4 more times at the track, or 3 more times. I'm not saying he has 4 career wins there. And Junior actually finished 2nd, if I'm correct. Earnhardt Jr. finished 2nd in that race.
Yep. Coming in at number 6, we have Casey Kane's final win in 2017. Here's the clip.
The points, the playoffs on the line, but this one so much more. It's not just a race, it's a chance to make a dream come true.
Other than Daytona, the first race of the year, as you go through the summer, this is the one. This is the marquee event that could propel a team to a championship.
Green flags in the air. We're under a red flag condition, lightning in the area. A storm passing through here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway has halted competition after 12 laps. The field approaching the Geico restart zone, ready to get back to racing at the Brickyard. Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr. making up row 1, and we're back to racing in Indianapolis. And Kyle Busch is going to win stage 1 at Indianapolis. A lot of smoke rolling out. Looks like the 88.
Smoke coming out the back. We got run into in the back.
You see the damage to the nose, a heavy damage to the left front.
The radiator for the 88. His final Brickyard 400 appearance is going to end early. And once again, the 18 has swept the first 2 stages. He's the 4th driver to do that in 2017. Kyle Busch slides and does the 78. They both go up into the wall through turn 1. Caution comes out.
Lock her down. We're done.
Fighting for the spot. The 18 got loose up high. The 78 was loose down low. 78 slid up and hit the 18. They both go around. Big flames underneath the hood of Martin Truex Jr.'s car. The 14 of Clint Boyer involved.
Hold the brake.
Also the 41 of Kurt Busch.
You see him, crash it down, crash it, coming up, he's coming in the middle. Hold the brakes there, bud, when you can.
Oh, into the wall, right in the front stretch. The 42 of Kyle Larson into the wall, and a caution comes out.
Sharon, hold it up here.
right in the middle of the front stretch. Flames from underneath the hood.
I'll stop your stop. You can get out.
Around goes the 48. The 48 blows up and into the wall it goes. The caution comes out again.
You want to know what winning a race means? It means 3 drivers are willing to drive 3 wide into turn 3 at Indianapolis at over 200 miles an hour, where there is barely 2, really 1.5 lanes for racing.
Caution's going to come out. They're wrecking behind them. Ray Gaulding involved in the 55.
This wreck is because you're coming green-white checkered, and everybody knows if you push the guy in front of you, it's going to make that line go faster. And this is pushing gone wrong.
Overtime, sponsored by Credit One Bank, is underway. Great restart for the 5 of Kasey Kahne. Can he hold it on the bottom of the track? Kahne gets by him. And the 11 goes around. They wreck behind him. Did they get to the overtime line? They haven't got there yet. Has the caution come out yet? Now the caution comes out. Kasey Kahne will win the Brickyard 400.
On a great restart. Not a good restart, a great restart.
This was marked the first Brickyard 400 without 5-time winner Jeff Gordon on the starting grid, and also the first not to feature the 2-time winning Tony Stewart since 1998 edition. I actually remember seeing this race and how it was a very controversial finish.
Yeah, it was a great race. There was a lot of cautions though, and it ran long. And it was supposed to end like 6 or 7, but it lasted until about 8 o'clock, and it was getting dark. So they were going to have to call a race eventually because they didn't have lights. If I'm correct, they didn't have lights. But nevertheless, they had a wreck on the backstretch, and they waited till Kahne passed the overtime line to throw the caution, which back then they had the overtime line. And, you know, it was his final career win in NASCAR. I feel like it was a great moment, so it deserved the number 6 spot. But moving on to number 5, an incident that I feel like definitely deserves to be on this list, and one that comes to mind with many fans. Kurt Busch versus Jimmy Spencer, Part 3. Roll the clip.
October of 2001, Busch on the lead lap, Spencer a lap down. Busch would later
took the lead from 23-year-old Kurt Busch on lap 444 in turn 4. But Busch came right back with a Spencer-like move of his own.
Whoa, he hit him. Busch got under him and muscled Jimmy Spencer. You don't see that often.
A new Winston Cup rivalry was born, and revenge was all but promised.
Got railroaded out of the lead. You know, he just got smashed in the back bumper. I mean, it's evident on tape. I'm sure they got it. Shouldn't race that way, but he won it. I just don't forget, that's all.
Very top of the screen, Kurt Busch is on the inside of Jimmy Spencer. Down that long straightaway, Kurt moves over to get some air between the 2 cars. Get to turn 3.
He just booted him out of the way. Wow, that's not good. No. I mean, here you got the guy coming, okay, he passed him clean, and you can see the car was slowing up in front of you. I don't think Kurt's going to let that one go over too easy. And great news there.
Oh, he's mad at somebody.
Yes, he is.
He's angry at somebody.
I think he's got his weapon. Oh, no, it's his hat.
He's going down and just tell somebody when they go by that he's angry.
All right. Survey says. Easy racing with there. We're here, and it's a red car. Jimmy Spencer? Yeah. That would be what, the 3rd or 4th time this year that they've tangled? Whoa, push, push,
Oh,
push.
now loose, now loose. Get off the throttle. And he's going to lose the spot.
Oh, touch. Hit.
Yeah, they don't forget, do they? Nobody does in this business.
See, I'm not very good at being bad. I was trying to flatten the 7th car fender, and I got mine. I needed to be further forward on his car. And he just showed on TV, just missed by about 1 inch of being not far enough forward. Inches only count unless you're playing horseshoes and hand grenades. And I don't really want to play either with that clown.
Back bumper up Jimmy Spencer. Spencer gets loose. Wow.
That's arrow loose. It's at its best.
The leader.
You better. What do you got? You have the run of your life.
The garage area may have actually been more exciting than the race. Kurt Busch and Jimmy Spencer kind of duked it out on the racetrack, and that flowed over to the post-race activities. Jimmy actually bumped the number 97 as they entered the garage area, and then sources tell me Jimmy got out of the car, approached Kurt Busch, and actually punched Kurt Busch. Authorities are looking into it, as is NASCAR, but
quite a reaction from the crowd last week at Bristol, Tennessee. Free Jimmy.
Lost puppy.
Lost puppy. And there were a few funny ones we can't show you.
What happened last week was an assault after the race, and what had happened leading up to that in the past was I've got 2 wrecked race cars out of it, and I don't respect Jimmy Spencer. And therefore what happened over the audio during the race and then after the race was because of the fact that I don't respect him. I never expected him to cross over that line. And so with having 2 wrecked race cars, that's why I don't respect him. And then
I've said it to everybody, 2 wrongs don't make a right. And I think Kurt Busch was, somebody tried to wreck me at 190 miles an hour. I wouldn't take it very kindly either. And I certainly wouldn't have parked my car behind that guy's hauler either. But, you know, NASCAR did what they have to do. And I certainly support NASCAR on their situation. I think they should have done equally the same to Kurt Busch.
You couldn't wait to get to Darlington, could you?
No, and as hot as it is too, but it's awesome. You know, take a week off. Sure didn't want to, and but you know, NASCAR has rules and you have to abide by them. So, you know, I made a mistake and it's over with, and I'm sorry for what happened.
So Kurt Busch started off in this race back towards the rear of the field. If I'm correct, he crashed there in qualifying or practice. He had to do a backup car. He was making his way up to the front pretty quickly. He was making his way up through the field. And then Jimmy Spencer, he came up alongside. Spencer kind of cut him off a little bit. Spencer put him in the wall. And that was a hard impact. If you've seen the video of that wreck, you know what I'm talking about. That was a hard hit. And if they didn't have the Hans device, they didn't have those Saberberry walls, it could have been a bad deal for Busch. But he got out of that car, you know, with the adrenaline. He was mad. He was mad indeed. And he, in fact, showed his displeasure with Spencer, as you saw in the video. He was making gestures. He was slapping his butt at Spencer, and he had to get called to the NASCAR hauler for what he did. It was actually their third dust up between each other earlier in the year at Bristol. He had a little run in with Spencer battling for the win, and it was Kurt Busch's first career win. But before that, even before that, 2001, Spencer wrecked Kurt Busch at Phoenix. Their 4th dust up would be their last, and that was when Spencer punched Kurt Busch in the garage area after an incident on the track. And yeah, that was a pretty crazy moment. Moving on.
In at number 4 is Tony Stewart's win. Here's the clip.
Days, just enjoying life. He sweeps out of turn 4 and sees the white flag at the same track where his hero A.J. Foyt won before him. Now Tony Stewart is 2.5 miles away from history.
Looking in his mirror about 2 seconds right now.
Turn 2 at the Brickyard. Down the backstretch.
This is going to be really, really big for him.
Half a lap to go. The fans cheering. Through turn 4, the last trip down the front stretch. Tony Stewart, a native Hoosier, his dream comes true. Tony Stewart wins the All-State 400 at the Brickyard. Let the party begin.
Folks, there's one happy race car driver.
These crew guys, when I talked with Tony yesterday, have stayed with him through some very emotional and turbulent times as a race car driver. They have held it together as a team. They won a championship. Off with the helmet. Unofficially, Stewart is the championship leader now, 75 points in front of Jimmy Johnson. I think this qualifies as your Chevy winning moment. Chevrolet congratulates Tony Stewart and the 20 Monte Carlo on today's win. The defending manufacturer's champion takes win number 567 overall. Chevy, the revolution races on. Well, Tony Stewart won at Daytona, climbed the fence.
I think he's headed over to the suites.
Won at New Hampshire, climbed the fence. And he wants to soak this all in.
I think that's right. He's soaking it all in, and he's acknowledging these Indiana fans.
And he knows he's
collecting himself.
Yes.
As well.
He knows this is the track where his hero A.J. Foyt won 4 times. Johnny Rutherford. So many big names. Grew up dreaming of being an open-wheel racer, hoping to win the Indianapolis 500. But his career took a turn towards stock cars. When he got with Joe Gibbs Racing, it really took off. I don't think anybody's left.
This is terrific stuff. Just terrific stuff.
You know, so many times in this sport, you get so close to this moment and it never happens. Dreams are shattered on final laps. Not this time.
Now he's coming up on the suite. We'll see what happens. Will he just simply acknowledge them?
He is unbuckled, continues to wave. Doesn't have his radio in, obviously, so nobody's talking to him. Simply enjoying the moment by himself. Uh-oh, he found a parking spot. That's his suite. Outside of turn 2, here comes smoke. Milks the tradition in the Indy 500.
Look at the over there in turn 2. So I hope the car starts again.
The heat shields off his shoes. And back in his car. Wanted to celebrate with his friends. Just wonder if they've got the letters up on the marquee at that Dairy Queen in Columbus already.
Check this out, a ladder.
I think they need a bigger ladder.
So Tony Stewart makes the trip back to the front stretch and then eventually to victory lane at Indianapolis. Casey Kane came home second.
That's zippy.
Yeah. A NASCAR official.
And the fans are yelling, Tony.
Well, you know what they want, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
It's a small ladder. think he's interested in the ladder.
Jason Shapiro.
Scott
right beside Tony.
I think anybody with a Home Depot shirts requires right now.
How many nights do you think Tony Stewart dreamed of doing this? Somewhere in there is Alan Bestwick.
Oh my goodness, Bill.
So in the 2005 race, Stewart had won and gained the points lead over Jimmy Johnson after Johnson had wrecked earlier in the race. But what really made the race iconic for a couple of reasons was, first off, Stewart winning on his home track, and secondly, climbing the fence like Elliott Castroneves with his entire team.
Yeah. He also, as he went to turn 2, a fan actually gave him a can of Coca-Cola as he was doing his celebration. Casey Kane finished second. Jeremy Mayfield actually got 4th in this race. Tony Stewart led the most laps with 44. And if Bill Elliott had finished in the top 10 in that race, all of the Evernham drivers would have finished in the top 10 for the first time that season. That was a great race, too. If you haven't yet, go check that out. Moving on.
And at number 3, we have Paul Menard's upset victory in 2011.
Just kind of taking the measure of him, pacing him.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to stay close enough to push him on the fuel issue.
Tony Stewart began the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup with the win at Chicagoland Speedway on Monday. We talked then about would that be what launched them in to a championship bid after, frankly, a season that wasn't as successful as we expected out of Stewart and this team.
He's 6 laps away from getting that win. He's got half of his wins from this track.
In front of him, Boyer, this is what I'm talking about. He's having to use fuel here. He's having to run extremely hard right now, trying to get Bobby Labonte here. So it's not like he can ease around and make all of that happen.
Labonte was trying to stay on the lead lap, 22nd place. He's just gone a lap down. Stewart closing in.
Yeah, it's time for Stewart to go. If he's got anything left, he needs to put it all out there right now.
Ryan Newman on pit road under the green with 5 to go. Bad break for 39. Report from pit road, right front on that 39 car.
I think that might have been a loose wheel. It didn't look like that tire was flat.
Driver felt something he didn't like and didn't think he could take for 5 more laps. So 4 laps to go. Clint Boyer out in front of this race, trying to hold off Tony Stewart for the win. All of these drivers thinking they possibly have fuel to the finish, or they possibly don't. A familiar situation in 2011 in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. For Stewart, a win would be 2 for 2 in the chase. For
3 to go.
I didn't like the sound of his voice right there. It sounded like it may have stumbled on him.
That was Boyer's radio.
Yeah.
Denny Hamlin looks like he's out of gas.
Oh man, that's a tough break for Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, he had gotten to Jeff Gordon's back bumper for that 5th spot right before that happened.
So we've already seen 1 run dry. And Stewart is stalking. Report from pit road. Boyer is questioning whether he's running out of fuel. Here comes Stewart.
Yeah, there it is. He's out.
Stewart to the lead. 2 laps to go.
Now does Tony have enough fuel?
It was this race a year ago. Stewart led coming off turn 4 to the white flag. And he ran out of gas. Is it going to be different this time?
He's got a big lead. He can sit on that. He doesn't have to run very hard.
White flag is up this time. 1 lap to go.
Looks like Brad Keselowski took second away from Greg Biffle.
Final lap in New Hampshire. Watching Tony Stewart to see if he's got enough fuel to make it the advantage he has. He's up 7 seconds on Keselowski now as other people begin to fade.
Take a deep breath. I got this.
Sounds like he's got plenty of fuel.
So if he was stalking him, he knew just what he was doing. 2 wins in a row to start the chase.
Way to go.
Tony Stewart wins at New Hampshire.
That's impressive by Tony Stewart and this team. Brad Keselowski, great day.
Greg Biffle out of fuel coming to the checkers.
See if Jeff Gordon can beat him. Nope, looks like Biffle beat Gordon to the line.
But Gordon was able to stretch the gas to get there. Keselowski gets second, Biffle third, Gordon fourth, Brian Vickers comes home fifth. Dale Earnhardt Jr. possibly out of gas coming to the checkers also and got a right front.
Wow, Matt Kenseth comes home sixth. What a rebound for him.
Oh, another crazy finish. And Vince, this year at New Hampshire is going to come out a lot better for Darian Grubb, Tony Stewart's crew chief.
Tell you what, they are celebrating here in the 14 box. And Darian, a lot better finish this time than a year ago, huh? How good's that feel?
Feels really good. Way to start the chase here. This awesome team, SHR. I can't say enough for everything that they've done. Starting to chase off 2 wins. We can't think anything better.
Well, they had a few slip through their hands early in the season, but they have put it together here to start the chase. Back-to-back wins.
Had enough fuel to go and do some celebrating afterwards.
And on pit road as Stewart went into victory lane, the sportsmanship and the handshake from Clint Boyer. So let us head down to Napa Victory Circle and hear from today's winner, Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart soaking it up. He's the new points leader now with an 8-point advantage and just the second driver to ever open the chase with back-to-back wins. Well, if last week's victory at Chicagoland Speedway gave you guys a shot of confidence, what does this week's win say about this 14 team, Tony?
Well, I mean, we felt like this weekend was a good opportunity off of the spring. So, you know, we got 8 long weeks still, man. It's way too early to be counting chickens right now.
You guys had struggled throughout the course of the season during many points. Early in the season, you had some victories slip through your fingers. How frustrating was it during those down times? You ever imagine that you'd be in this position?
Well, we got rid of some dead weight earlier this week, so it's made it a lot easier. So it's been a big weight lifted off our shoulders. Just sometimes you got to make adjustments in your life, and we did that, and it's definitely helped this weekend for sure. And these guys have never quit, man. These guys have never given up, and we got a shot at this thing.
How about the irony of last year's race with you running out of fuel and Clint taking the victory, and then him running out of fuel today and you getting the win?
I know exactly what that feels like. I know exactly how he feels right now. Hey, I saw him slow down the back, and I thought, oh, no, you're kidding me. That's not the way you want to win it, for sure. But, you know, we're in a chase now, and we got to get everything we can get. So, you know, I feel bad for him, and it's fun racing him. I mean, he had the better car at the end there. Our only chance was to catch him in lap traffic, but you know, head to head he was a little better than we were, so it's hard to lose him that way. But you know, when we finally got Mobile One in victory lane today, and shows the last 2 weeks we've been good on fuel mileage, and that's how good Mobile One is and how efficient it is. And Office Depot and Goodyear and U.S. Army, Chevrolet, Mack Tools, everybody at Mack, they're awesome. Haas Automation, the Hendrick engine department and chassis department, they're doing an awesome job. So I forgot them last week, and I hate that because they're the reason we're here. So everybody at Stewart Haas Racing, and Tom Tieran, this one's for you, buddy.
Tony Stewart taking care of business today. It's a 7-point lead in the championship now. Dave?
And Jeff Gordon's been debriefing with car owners and friends. Jeff, the good news is up 6 positions. You are now 5th in the championship. You led the most laps, got a couple of bonus points. But tell us how staying on pit road for as long as you did changed your day.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating for everybody on this DuPont Chevrolet team. You know, none of us want to put ourselves in that position. You know, it's a bit of a surprise to all of us that I ran out under green. You know, we were expecting to go a couple more laps, so we're making great horsepower. We're not getting good fuel mileage. But Tony, you know, is figuring out a way to do it, so you got to give those guys credit. They got the same engines we have. You know, and we got to do a better job at it. I got to do a better job at it. But at that point when we ran out, I didn't know I had to save fuel. I thought we were in our window and we're just going to come in and do a green flag stop. And, you know, gosh, it was just frustrating. we got back out there, and once I got behind guys like Tony, I really was just too tight to pass him anyway. I certainly wasn't expecting to have to conserve as much as we did there, but hey, to pull off a top 5, that's good. We got what we could out of it. We didn't need to take any chances like we did last week at Chicago, and you know, all we can do is look at the good side, you know, and that's what we made gains in the points. Not making enough gains on the leaders, that's the only frustrating part.
Well, 2 good sides, a recovery in the points, as he said, and a recovery to 4th place today. Jamie?
Brad Keselowski's talking smack on Jeff Gordon, going long-winded there. Finishes 2nd today.
With him one day and see how long he can swim, man. I bet he could be underwater for an hour.
Okay, let's talk about your run today. Jumped up 3 positions in the points, your 3rd, highest ever. Your crew chief was stressed out this morning about your car. Did it get that much better, or was it all strategy?
No, we made some good adjustments with about 120, 130 to go. And drove up into 4th, which I was really proud of our team for that. And you know, still played a little strategy, used the fuel stuff to get up to 2nd. But you know, we were a legitimate top 10 car. Maybe not quite a 2nd place car, but proud of the effort, proud of how we took a track where we were weak at and got a good finish of it. That's what this chase is all about. And I'm Arrow White Dodge team, they're getting it done.
Hot streak continues when it counts most. Brad Keselowski 2nd. Doc?
Jimmy Johnson climbing out of his car here in the garage. Jimmy, I know this day had its ups and downs and some frustration there, particularly with 20 to go, and you and Kyle. What was going on with the contact?
Well, I think track position was really important, and he was just, you know, racing really hard, which is what he's supposed to do. Typically, you know, the one lane off the bottom is the lane you give someone when they're on the inside of you, and he didn't want to give that lane up. And we just made some contact. It wasn't like he was trying to wreck me or anything. He was just being kind of stubborn and end of a race mentality. And when we got together the 2nd time, I think our wheels locked, and whipped the wheel out of my hand and bent something in the steering up front. But you know, that was just the end of a bad day. I mean, we didn't have a car like we thought we would. We were really optimistic yesterday after practice. The car was just great. Today just didn't have the speed, and then track position was so important, and pit calls didn't work out our way. But you know, we'll take this one on the chin and go on to the next one.
You've been in this position before, you know, with down a little bit at the beginning of a chase, 8 races ago. What's the mindset now for you, maybe winning that 6th title?
You just got to take every race as they come. You never know what's going to happen. And in my experience of winning 5, we lost the points lead due to a wreck on the last lap at Talladega and still came back and won. So anything can happen, but you know, days like this aren't what you hope for sure.
Thanks for your time.
Yep, thank you.
All right, so Jimmy Johnson with an 18th place finish today here at New Hampshire, and we check the championship standings after the 2nd race in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon did make a nice move using that conservative strategy to not run out of fuel. He didn't gain on the leaders, but he did gain 6 spots.
Yeah, just looking at Tony Stewart, the move that they have made here, I don't think any of us could see this coming, but Brad Keselowski, we talked about him possibly getting in this chase the way that they ran, that they could be a sleeper and battle for this championship, and they're right there.
And it's on to Dover for the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Meanwhile, a couple of guys who are not in the championship who had some good finishes today here in New Hampshire with Dave.
Yeah, they sure did, Alan. 5th place, Brian Vickers. I had to look at him for 2 seconds there. And 3rd place, Greg Biffle. Let's start with Greg. Greg, best finishing Roush car here today. It's been a while since that's been the case for you. How'd you get there?
Well, I mean, you know, we ran there the whole day. You know, we were never out of the top 10, and you know, just had a really, really good car, and the guys did a great job in the pits. And I'm finally happy that we just finished a race where we had been running. You know, I mean, we've run up front. You know, Chicago, we had something, sheet metal brake on the car, and here, nothing happened to the car. We finished where we're running 3rd. We ran out of gas and got beat. We were running 2nd, but 2 got by us. But still, just a great day for us. Excited we had Ford 40 MPG on the car. I think it might have helped us a little bit.
Great run for him in 3rd today. And Brian Vickers, who tied his season best with a 5th place, Brian.
Yeah, it was a good run for us. The Red Bull Toyota guys did a good job all day. We were good in the first stint, not great. Over-adjusted, got way too loose the 2nd and 3rd stint, lost our track position. The last 2 runs, we were awesome. The car was so good, probably one of the better cars on the track. We had to pass 20 cars just to get back to the top 5, and ran out of time. But really proud of the effort by everyone.
It's like they say, you got to work on your stuff to be good, and they did today. Dr. Punch?
Well, Denny Hamlin trying to get his luck to turn around here, came out of the car, sat on the back of the hauler here, talking to Mike Ford and some of the engineers on the team, and what a frustrating year it has been for Denny Hamlin. Denny, it looked like this was going to be the day that turned it around for you. You guys making a gamble on fuel, and everyone seemed to say on the radio you thought you were good.
Yeah, we thought we were good, and that's just another one. It's strategy racing nowadays, and we just came up short right there. The only thing I can think of is we were a little bit, we were in cleaner racetrack that last run, but that was the worst fuel mileage we got all day, and I was backing my corner up quite a bit. So there's only two things, either we weren't getting the fuel mileage we thought, or we didn't get it full, or I just used too much. So we got to work through it, and another tough day for us. But I mean, we're just figuring out what we got to do just to be a little more competitive.
Denny Hamlin, no quitting this team. They're going on next week to Dover. Vince.
Earnhardt Jr. certainly was a solid day for you guys. You didn't get the finish because of that right front flat, but finished up 17th today. But how encouraging is it to run the way you guys ran 2 weeks in a row?
Well, we want to run like that. We had a great car. We worked really smart all weekend. Second week in a row, we really had a good one and should have finished in the top 10 pretty easily. We had a flat tire, and then we had, about 100 laps to go, and then we had another flat tire right there at the end. Just too much camber. We really didn't hit anybody or bang on the wall or anything. Just, having a little too much camber gain, getting a little too much travel, and the track did tighten up there at the end to really increase wear on the right front. So it's a shame, but and I'm frustrated. I want to win a race. I'd like to win a chase, but I'd like to win a race too. We had a good enough car to do it today, I thought.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. Thanks, Dale. Alan?
All right, Vince, thanks. And Junior and the rest of the drivers in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series going to move down the East Coast a little bit from here in New Hampshire to Dover, Delaware, and the Monster Mile for next Sunday's Race 3 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, ESPN 1 Eastern Time. Then it's out to Kansas Speedway, Charlotte, Talladega, Martinsville, and the rest of the tracks.
There were 5 cautions and 22 lead changes among 13 different drivers throughout the course of the race. Paul Menard won his only Cup Series race driving for Richard Childress Racing, while Jeff Gordon finished second and Regan Smith clinched third. The result moved Menard to the 14th position in the Drivers' Championship. He remained 53 points behind 10th place driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. and 2 ahead of Casey Kane in 15th. Chevrolet maintained its lead in the Manufacturers' Championship, 20 points ahead of Ford and 28 ahead of Toyota, with 16 races remaining in the season. A total of 138,000 people attended the race, while 6.4 million watched it on live television. Dang. I remember when NASCAR used to pull numbers like that.
Yep, they used to back in the day at the Brickyard. If you watch some of the races from the 90s and early 2000s, the place was packed, sold out. Wish it would be like that now. But that was a really, really interesting race. I remember watching this, and David Reagan was on the pole. No one expected Menard to win. It came down to pit strategy. One driver that was out in front towards the end was Trevor Bayne. He actually was leading with 10 laps to go. And then Paul Menard basically, they decided to gamble on fuel a little bit. And if I'm correct, he got 2 tires on one of his stops. I may be wrong. When Jamie Mcmurray was out front, it looked like he might get his second win in a row at the track. Then he comes down pit road with 3 to go. And then Jeff Gordon comes flying out of nowhere. Jeff Gordon was catching Menard, but he just ran out of time.
In at number 2 is Dale Sr.'s win. Here's the clip.
Turn 1. Trying to intimidate the intimidator, Dale Jarrett trying to do so. Wallace also, and I think Dale Earnhardt's found a few more feet of breathing room out there, though they close up now in that short shoot over into the second corner.
Oh, I'm not sure at that speed how you measure a few feet. It looks like it's status quo as they come off this second corner. But I tell you, I still think the fastest driver-car combinations at Hamlin number 28.
As they come down the back straight, once again, they close it up, and here comes Jarrett. Looks like he's going to look to the inside, but tucks it back in behind Rusty Wallace, and they head to 3.
Now they're in the north short chute, and again, Dale Jarrett trying to close on Rusty Wallace. They come to 4. The separation, just a couple of car lengths. Slower traffic in front should give the 3 a chance to bunch up behind Kenny Wallace.
But, Ned, the important thing is they're not gaining on Earnhardt.
No, they aren't. They aren't gaining on him. He's... In fact, they're all running about the same speed. Jarrett might have picked up just a little bit on Rusty Wallace, but man, this is some exciting racing. This is what the fans paid for.
They pull up on Kenny Wallace, turn 2. Off to the side allows them plenty of racing room as they negotiate turn 2, and again, just about the same spacing between first and second and third. Granted, I think they're all now running just about the very same speed.
Every fan on its feet as they head into turn number 3, and what a great race this is as the lap line down. Earnhardt is your leader. Second place, Wallace. Third place, Dale Jarrett. Less than 8 car lengths separate your top 3. And you're right, if there's going to be a battle, it seems to be for second. Jarrett's still trying to reel in Rusty Wallace. They head through 4. Dale Earnhardt is the leader, running smoothly.
Coming down for 2 to go. 300,000 fans have bought seats. Nobody's sitting in them. They may be standing on them. Front straightaway, Earnhardt incredibly extends his advantage, going to 1.
Dale Earnhardt's been very effective in making moves into the short chute, the south end of the speedway today. Now he just kind of steps it down a couple of notches or 2. He's got more breathing room, and here comes Dale Jarrett right in on the back of Rusty Wallace.
Well, remember, after last year's race, Dale figures this place owes him one. He may have it here. The battle indeed is for second, halfway down the backstretch.
Looks like Dale Jarrett will go trying to look to make the move. Instead, he cuts it right in behind Rusty Wallace's Ford Thunderbird as they head into 3. But once again, it's Earnhardt, your leader, and now he's opened up about a 4-car length lead. Again, fighting to try to reel in Rusty Wallace's third place runner, Dale Jarrett. Dale Earnhardt leads. The lead is about 12 car lengths. Then it's Rusty Wallace. Then it's a hard charge at Dale Jarrett.
White flag will be in the wind this time around. We're into the last lap of the Brickyard 400.
Dale Earnhardt has a comfortable lead. Rusty Wallace does not have a comfortable lead over Dale Jarrett as going to turn 1.
Dale Earnhardt, third in money, third in points, about to pick up a big bundle of money in the short chute. Straight on into number 2, Gary Kitty.
Dale Earnhardt made a mistake at the beginning of last year's race. If he does not make a mistake at the end of this one, he's going to win it. About 8 car lengths now separate first and second as they head for 3.
He says there's 2 races he wants to win before he quits, and that is the Brickyard 400 and the Daytona 500. He less down than 2 turns away from winning the Brickyard. Dale Earnhardt through the North Shore chute. He has the comfortable lead. Rusty Wallace seems to have regained the comfortable lead for second. They're through 4. Earnhardt, Wallace, Jarrett, everybody on their feet. Here to describe the finish is Mike Joy.
Last year, Dale Earnhardt brushed the wall on the second lap. Today, he brushes off all challengers, and Dale Earnhardt in the Gian Goodwrench Chevrolet wins the second annual Brickyard 400. Rusty Wallace is second, Dale Jarrett is third. Let's go to Earnhardt's pit, Glenn Jarrett.
And I'm standing by there. It's absolute pandemonium down here, guys. I'm going to try to get a word with Richard Childers. And Richard, congratulations. What a great run. How do you overcome disappointment after last year better than this?
I'll tell you what, this is wonderful. This team worked so hard. We built a brand new car. Dale stayed on the wheel all the way. It was just wonderful.
Like great pit work. You guys did a fantastic job all day.
Yeah, great pit work. It's just just a wonderful day to win the Brickyard. I can't believe it.
Any day is a wonderful day to win here. Congratulations, guys. Great job. It's an absolute jubilation down here, guys. This is fun.
Exiting the car shortly. This is unbelievable. Dale Earnhardt brings a totally new car here to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and finds his way to victory lane. Now he gets out of the car to the cheers of the assembled throng and the congratulations of his crew. And you said, Dale, you've won the PPG Cup. You're the winner of the Brickyard 400. You said on the radio to your crew, I guess I'm not too old to win here.
Well, I tell you, Chevrolet and GM Goodwrench done a great job. I tell you, Richard and all the guys back at the shop, in the fab shop, I can't thank them enough. Put a great race car together, a brand new car. Just had about 40 laps of practice on her before the race. To go out and win this race with this car is great.
What a gamble for you guys, though. Like yesterday, making all of those changes, having to battle with the weather, and not really sure whether you're even going to get some practice to shake it down.
Well, we even made some changes this morning, I'll be honest with you, but his race car, his crew, they are to beat when they're right, and he was right today. I was better out front than I was.
Getting the congratulations from Mary George.
I was better out front than I was behind, and I got behind, it was push, and it just wouldn't go as good. I go out front, and it was real good. I could go better out front, so that's the place I wanted to be. We beat him out of pits there. On that green flag stop and into caution, we had track position. So
you had a close call out there, though.
Yeah, the 8 car wrecked in front of us, but
And there's Richard Childress coming in to congratulate his driver. And this is the celebration. We're tangled up in the court. And one of the things that is a tradition here with the PPG Cup for winning the Brickyard 400 is a special commemorative silver brick. And the president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Tony George, is here to make the presentation. And I know you've been waiting for one of these. Tony?
Dale, congratulations. Well-deserved victory, and I know what we talked about earlier, and we'll both forget that conversation. I'm happy to present you with this PPG trophy, commemorating your win today.
Well, thank you, Tony. Y'all got a great family and a great racetrack tradition up here. I'm glad I'm the second man that won, and if not the first. We really appreciate it. And NASCAR, I guarantee you NASCAR is happy to be here.
Now, what about the Daytona 500? You haven't won that one, but now you can walk around and say, hey, man, I've won Indianapolis.
Yeah, and just two of us have done it. You know, it's a pretty neat deal. We've never won the Daytona 500, but the Brickyard's a special race. I think it's the next to it, so we'll take it.
Let's go back to the tower.
So in the 1995 race, ABC had signed off early because of the green flag dropping at 5 p.m. Eastern time due to rain. So there was no live TV broadcast, which would be one of the last races to not be broadcast live. It was instead broadcast on the radio live and reran the day after the race. Dale had won over Rusty Wallace due to darkness.
Yeah, and there's only one caution in that race, too. It's pretty crazy. If I'm correct, it's the fastest Brickyard 400 in history. The race ended at 7 o'clock Eastern time. So, or actually, yeah, 8 o'clock. I was wrong there. I was thinking Central time on my notes. But yeah, it was a very fast race. Only one caution. And that was, I feel like that deserved the number 2 spot because first off, it's Dale Earnhardt. Second of all, it was very iconic. He was having a great battle with Rusty Wallace for that win. And Jeff Burden actually brought out the final caution. Jeff Burden spun, and then the leaders had to avoid him coming to take the yellow flag, and then the rest of it was just run under yellow and the checkered flag. But number 1, I think this was pretty obvious to put at number 1, and this one was Jeff Gordon winning the inaugural Brickyard 400. Roll the clip.
It's got to be tough on those crewmen. Oh, here we go. Ernie slipped going in 1. Ernie slips, and Jeff Gordon gets alongside.
That wasn't on orders from the crew. That was because Ernie missed the entrance to turn 1, and Jeff saw it and immediately went for the hole.
And something's wrong with Ernie. Something has happened to the 28 car, Bob.
Irvin slows down and is going to lose second position.
A tire. He's got a tire going down.
Irvin drops off the pace, and now Brett Bodine goes into second. Ernie Irvin heads for the warm-up lane, and Jeff Gordon has the lead. And listen to this crowd in Indiana as they cheer their boy, Jeff Gordon. On to the backstretch now with less than 1/2 lap to go for Jeff Gordon. He eyes turn number 3.
And listen to the crowd as they acknowledge Jeff Gordon when he goes by.
It's an unbelievable situation in Indianapolis. Here he is in the 4th turn. This is his final trip around turn number 4. And Jeff Gordon is about to write his name in the racing history books. Years from today, when 79 stock car races have been run here, we'll remember the name Jeff Gordon, winner of the inaugural Brickyard 400.
First it was Ray Haroon, ladies and gentlemen. And now the name is Jeff Gordon, has won the first Winston Cup race here at the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Jeff, over here, congratulations, a terrific victory, but tell us about the battle first.
Oh man, what a battle. We had a great car all day long, and the only car I was really worried about was that 7 car, and I saw him, he had his misfortune, and I thought, well, all we got to do is just be nice and smooth and ride it here out from here. But that wasn't true. We had a caution, and Ernie and the 2 car were right there, and I pulled away, but Ernie, he kept loosening me up, so I let him go by, and then I get on him, and eat his tires up and loosen him up. He let me go by. I tell you, I just want to commend that whole Havoline team and Ernie Irvin. He drove me a really nice, clean race. We didn't have to worry about anything. And
well, listen, we've got a very special presentation. Behind me and behind you is the president of the internationally known Indianapolis Motor Speedway that is now the home of Winston Cup's Brickyard 400, Mr. Tony George, for a very special presentation. Tony?
Jeff, congratulations. You've helped write history here. Your name will be the first to be inscribed on the beautiful PPG trophy for the Brickyard 400. This is yours to take home. Congratulations.
So it was the first NASCAR race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, record crowd, and the winning purse was $3.2 million, which is pretty crazy. Jeff Gordon, hometown hero from Pittsburgh, Indiana. Sorry about that. He was 23 years old, and it was his second career win. He had won earlier that year in the Coca-Cola 600. It was a great race, but going down to the end of it, basically Ernie Irvin was in the lead. They kept swapping it. And then Irvin had a flat tire down the backstretch with around 5 laps to go. He had to go to pit road. Brett Bodine ended up finishing second, and it was iconic. It was a great race and the #1 spot on the list. I hope y'all enjoyed the list this week.
Okay.
You just cut out "Here They Are" because that's great.
Okay. All right. So now let's get into our race picks for Lucas Oil Raceway Park and the Indianapolis Road Course. Kicking it off with the truck race at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. They have not raced at this track in years, I believe. So this is going to be very hard to predict. I'm going to go with a little bit of my Gateway predictions because if I'm correct, this track is a little bit shorter than Gateway. So I'm going to say Ben Rhodes wins.
You stole my pick, Mike. I was going to go with Ben Rhodes too. I mean, he's been pretty solid on short tracks or mile tracks this year. And I could see that car winning at that track in particular, just the color of the car and everything. It just seems like it would be the one. So I think Ben Rhodes is going to win as well. I think there will be a good bit of crashes in this one. But I say Matt Crafton actually gets the top 5 for the first time in a while, and it'll move him up in the playoffs. But I don't think he's going to win this year.
Okay. And then for the Xfinity race, I'm going to go ahead and say that your favorite driver is going to win, Ty Gibbs.
Ty Gibbs. Oh, man. I do not want to see Ty Gibbs win here. Oh, man. But, you know, one driver that is one of my favorites, Chase Briscoe, is in this race, and we know what he did last year. Yeah, he's driving the 07 in this one.
Okay.
Chase Briscoe, I really hope could get the win. And that race last year was just chaos with all the wrecks and everything, and him dumping Hamlin in the Cup race. But we're here to talk about Xfinity.
Well, you know what? Sorry, Ty Gibbs, but I'm going to change my pick to Chase Briscoe because he's just too good on those road courses.
You know, Bubba Wallace and Alex Bowman's actually on the entry list as well.
Nah.
But I don't see them doing it. You know what? I'm going to say, even though I've picked him multiple times this year and he actually almost won at Portland, Myatt Snyder wins in the 31.
So I took your pick.
Oh,
right.
Sorry.
So now let's get into the Cup race. I just picked him, so you know what? I'm going to pick him again. Chase Briscoe. I think with this next-gen car, he gets it done with the Indy road course. Let's hope he does not bump anybody out of the way this time. And if he does, it's a legal move.
I hope he moves people. But, you know, Rocha State is also an Xfinity race. I forgot to mention that. But Cup race, I'm going to say that a driver who's won a good bit of road courses over the last 2 years, someone who's been pretty solid, he did decently last year, if I'm correct. I'm going to say Kyle Larson wins. He ran in the top 5 at the Indy race last year, and I think he has a chance. And, yeah, I think it's going to be chaos again. I think there's probably going to be a good bit of wrecks, but I hope it won't be like last year, because last year was just out of hand, just wrecking every single restarter, drivers that kept cutting the course, and just the course is falling apart in general on the curb. So hopefully it's better than last year. I still wish they do the oval, but it's how it is now, I guess. Whatever NASCAR wants to do, not listen to fans. But yeah, that's our picks for this weekend. Also, one thing I guess we could talk about, Brandon Brown. He's not going to be driving the rest of the season for Brandon Bill Motorsports. It's kind of a shame. I mean, he was decent some races. He just had problems with sponsorship. Is there anything you want to talk about with that?
Yeah, I just heard about that today, and it's very much a shame. It's just stupid how politics have completely ruined this man's chances at sponsorship. He earned his sponsors with his driving over the season with, this small town team out of Virginia. And now all of a sudden he can't get sponsors because everybody automatically associates him with politics. And it's just really stupid. The whole thing in general is stupid. And I feel so bad for that guy. Austin Dillon is going to be in the car for this weekend, but I'm not sure who's going to be in the car for the rest of the races. So just very unfortunate for Brandon. I wish that he could have gotten a chance to make it in that car and potentially brought it in for the playoffs again.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, Brandon last year, I was at the race when it all went down, but it is a shame. But one thing's also a shame. I hate to go back to this, but I just keep seeing more posts of people just literally contradicting themselves. How they're like, "Oh yeah, we're not that toxic. Oh yeah, we're not over here complaining about post-race inspection." Those type of people, because there was one post in particular I saw where, "Oh, why NASCAR? You have to wait an hour to inspect the car, say Hell was disqualified," stuff like that. And also say his daughter's crying in the post. First off, Denny Hamlin's daughter's crying for whatever reason. It has nothing to do with him being disqualified, because that didn't happen till after they left the track. So I don't know what brain cells you have to think that. But it's kind of ridiculous, Mike. I know I'm not a huge JGR fan, but I'm honest with you. I get ticked off by some of the stuff that some of these JGR fans are saying. As much as I like Hendrick, there is Hendrick fans that are toxic, but it's just getting out of hand. The NASCAR community in general is just so stupid at times, and it makes me want to, as I said earlier, hit my head against a brick wall. It's really a shame. I mean, people say just because Chase Elliott wins doesn't mean you get to act like the fans that you say you aren't. Just going here blasting, even some people in chats just being toxic as well and blasting people for having an opinion. I mean, it's ridiculous. Can you not have a civil conversation?
Right.
With any other fan? It's ridiculous. It's almost as bad as Formula One now, what I saw this weekend. It's ridiculous, Mike.
Well, there are a couple of other things that I would like to talk about, and this came from the Door Bumper Clear podcast with, I believe that's Chase Briscoe's spotter, Brett Griffith.
Yep, I see.
So taking a look at it, there's a couple of notes that were here. The first one is Kurt Busch. He had a concussion, and Ty Gibbs had to race in the 45. I forgot to mention that early on in the episode.
Yeah, why did we forget to mention that? Like, I can't
I
believe
know, right? I know, right? Like, how dumb are we sometimes? But anyways, his concussion is a result of cumulative hard hits over the season: Bristol Dirt, the first Atlanta race, Talladega, and the second Atlanta race, to the point where John Hunter Nemechek was slated to drive the 45 after Atlanta and at Pocono after Kurt wasn't feeling well, which is shocking because Kurt looked fine. He was still doing his media appearances. He wasn't really, his face didn't show concussion on it, if you will. Yeah. So that's honestly scary. I hope Kurt gets better. Prayers for him. There's no word on if he's going to be racing this weekend or not, so I'm not entirely sure. And the second thing, which is very, very big, Gene Haas, he went to Pocono for the first time in a while. I'm not sure how long it's been since he's been to a race, but they're trying to recruit Kyle Busch to the 41 if he does leave Joe Gibbs Racing. It seems like Joe Gibbs is having a hard time trying to find, or TRD, I'm not entirely sure how that works. It seems like they're having a hard time trying to find a sponsor for Kyle Busch, which I get. Kyle Busch can be a whiny guy sometimes. He can be a complainer.
Yeah.
But you would be lucky to sponsor him. He is a great race car driver. I think he would represent your brand decently besides his complaining. But I would sponsor him, honestly. I mean, why not? He's a good spokesperson. I think he's done well marketing his energy drink and those Breathe Right nasal strips. So I would definitely sponsor Kyle Busch. But if he does leave Joe Gibbs, it would be very interesting to see him create a super team almost at Stewart Haas with Kevin Harvick and potentially Chase Briscoe, and Ryan Preece may be going to the 10 as well. So I wouldn't mind seeing Kyle Busch come to Ford.
Now, Ryan Preece said Sam would be stupid. Honestly, I like Stewart Haas Racing. Honestly, I like Chase Briscoe, I like Kevin Harvick, Eric Almirola. So if Kyle Busch goes there, that'd be pretty cool. I'm still not a fan of him, but if he was to go there, that would be pretty cool. One cheer for him, but I would think it would be better to play him in the 10 because the 10 just seems to have better equipment and they have a better crew each week in the 41. And I would put in the 41, I would put the Xfinity driver in, but I wouldn't put in Preece. And I would send Custer back to Xfinity. So he needs more time to develop. But I agree with most of your points there, Mike. It is kind of strange Kyle Busch just doesn't have a sponsor, really. But he could honestly sponsor himself. I mean, why can't you have Rowdy Energy on the car or anything like that?
I mean, I was thinking he could sponsor himself because he has sponsored other things. Like he sponsored Camden Murphy, the Monster Jam driver who drove for a race at Nashville. His truck was sponsored by Rowdy. He has Rowdy on his truck as a contingency on the one of the pillars and on his fire suit. He holds a Rowdy Energy after races. So I don't know why he couldn't sponsor himself unless it's too much money. I don't know how much money it is to sponsor a NASCAR Cup car, especially one of the best NASCAR Cup cars. But even if he just did it for a couple of races and then Interstate Batteries and the other chocolate company that sponsored them for the Las Vegas races, DeWalt, if they all stepped up and sponsored, then Kyle Busch would have a full sponsorship lineup.
Yeah, you're right. I was going to mention this also with you mentioned Kurt Busch. He's had a lot of hard hits this year. I have noticed that. I mean, he even had a hard wreck at Charlotte. But, yeah, it's unfortunate for him. Hopefully he can get back in the car soon. But it's crazy. We didn't know about some of this information until after this all came out. But it is a shame. Concussions have been a part of sport in the past, and it's gonna happen with racing in general. There's gonna be injuries. It's a motorsport. You're going really fast, so injuries do happen. And it's a new car as well. So I mean, we're talking about this at the beginning of the season with this new car. We may see an injury or so. We saw. So it is what it is. That's all I got to add on to those things.
Yeah, and some people are, of course, complaining that is the next gen car really that safe? If it wasn't safe, why is Chris Buescher not injured or didn't have an injury? Why did Harrison Burton walk out without an injury? Stuff like that happens. Maybe the driver's head hits the seat. You can't see it because they don't show the video to the public. They have all the cars apparently have cameras that collect data for them in a black box like they have in planes that collect data for them to research. And they don't show it to the public, which I wish they would show it to the public. That would be very cool.
They won't do that.
But they have that, and they're trying their best to keep the cars safe. So maybe they can look over Kurt's hits and see what they can do better to improve it so we don't see concussions nearly as much. But anyways, I think that's going to close this week's episode out.
I don't think that they would ever release that information really to the public because it's not really public knowledge. They should know that. Honestly, it's like, why would you, for example, I know it's going to be a weird one, but with plane crashes, they're not going to release like people's fatal plane crashes like in data to the public like that.
No, I was talking about
the
the video from the driver's side, just to show like how it feels to be in the car, not the data. That's for NASCAR to research.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, what? But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of hard hits this year. You mentioned, but Ross Chastain had a hard hit Sunday, for example, too. But I mean, it is.
And at the All-Star race when he went on his side.
Yeah, that was a big hit as well. And with fantasy this week, I've won last week, and I was dead last this week. I'm like, well, that was a shocking turnaround. But anyways, if you haven't yet joined the Nasboys Fantasy League, link in the description.
Yep, and that's going to close out this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Make sure you guys follow our socials, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
See y'all.
You want me calling now, you wanting what I think.